In this video, I'm going to show you how we order a gold foil invitation with digital floral prints from PrintsWell Fulfillment. This is the invitation we're going to be printing, so let's go ahead and dive in. First, we'll start with file setup. This is fully approved for print. The background is just an image from Photoshop where I have played with all the florals and laid them out where we want them. It is pretty much ready to go. The only thing you want to pay attention to is that this is at least 300 ppi, which it says it is right here. That will be perfect for printing. And then we also want to make sure it extends off the edge of the artboard, which is this black line, all the way to the bleeds, which is this red line. PrintsWell requires a 1/8 inch bleed on all 4 sides. If you don't know what that is, I have another video I'll link for you on it, so we're not wasting too much time here. And then we'll want to outline our fonts, which is always necessary with PrintsWell, so we'll create our outlines there. That means we won't be able to edit this font anymore. So I'll go ahead and at this point save this as print ready, so it's a different file, and then if I need to go back and make changes, I have the non-outline font available. Anything that you want to be in foil will need to be vector. I have a video on vector versus raster if that's confusing to you. But generally, I like to think of that as kind of graphic elements. So any kind of like lines, borders, geometric shapes, etc. are going to be generally vectorized or vectorizable. But watch that video if you're not sure about the difference between those two. Fonts are almost always vectors, so we are good to go here, and we've outlined it, so it's in the right format. Now, we're going to create actually 3 different files to order this with PrintsWell. We want a composite file, which shows what everything should look like in the end. I usually like to keep that with a mock-up of kind of a goldish color, just so they can see this is supposed to be in foil and this is supposed to be digitally printed. And then we're just going to copy this artboard twice because we want to make sure that everything stays in the exact same place. If you're kind of copy and pasting and moving things, then you might miss something and the foil might be off compared to the digital printing or vice versa. So we just want this exact same artboard. I'm going to hold Alt, and then I'm just going to drag, and I'm also going to hold Shift so that it stays in line. I can't move this up or down. You can't really see me trying, but I am trying. There we go. And then I'm just going to do it again. So we're holding Alt to copy when I can move it everywhere, and I'm holding Shift to keep it on the same line. And so we want a total of 3 of these. The first one I mentioned is going to be the composite. That's this one, Artboard 1. Artboard 2 here is going to be just the foil file. So we're going to delete everything that is digitally printed. So we'll delete that, but we'll leave all the foil exactly where it is. The last thing we need to do is make sure this is 100% K, and then also make sure anything's vectorized. Since I outlined the fonts, we're good to go there. But we'll make sure that this is 100% K. Perfect. And then you'll notice we're keeping the same bleed, same artboard size, positioning of everything, etc. Now this third one is going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be everything that is digitally printed. So we'll delete anything that's foil printed. There we go. And then we are good to go. We're keeping the bleeds again, keeping everything positioned exactly the same. We're not moving anything. And then I'm just going to save this file because we always want to save fairly often. So this file is going to show what everything looks like all together. This is their foil die file, and this is their digitally printing file. Now we're just going to save those individually. So I'll do a save as composite. We want to save it as a PDF. And I'm going to use Artboard 1 for that. Now, I usually go with Illustrator default, but uncheck Preserve Illustrator editing capabilities. That makes the file a little bit smaller. The only thing you'll want to make sure is that you have these 0.125 bleeds on each side. If you didn't have them in the document, you can add them here, just like this. And we will save this PDF. Now we'll do the same thing with Artboard 2, but we'll call it die file. And I like to name these very explicitly so that I know exactly which one to upload where. There will be a preview on PrintsWell System, which is so helpful, but I just still like to make it really easy on myself. And then we'll save number 3 as print file. And you could save that as like digital print file, whatever. This is just the system that I have given myself over the years. Okay, so now we're going to head into PrintsWell Fulfillment. If you haven't used them before, you will sign up for a wholesale account on their fulfillment site. And if you use the link in the description, you can get $25 off your first order. I have a ton of videos about all the different things they offer, so definitely check them out. I use them for almost all of my printing. We'll just go into start order, and we're going to select, instead of a flat card, we'll do a foil stamped flat card. And it does say die pricing exclusive from cards. I'll show you what that means in a second. We'll start with our standard product size. We are doing, this is an A9. It's 5.5 by 8.5. And then we're going to select our paper. For foil stamping, I usually like to use the double fix. Any of these will work really well. My standard is this eggshell ultra white. And then we don't need printing on the back, but it's really nice that that is an option. You can do flat printing on the back. You cannot do foil printing on the back of foil printing. So we'll just do printing on the front. We're going to order 100 of these. So you can see that the price per card, this is just for the printing, is $1.41 each. This is going to be exclusive from the additional die pricing, which we'll see in the next step. If you don't know a lot about foil stamping, what basically happens is they create a metal die and they press a sheet of foil with a lot of heat and pressure into the paper. But what's cool about it is you can feel kind of the indent in the paper. So it's different than digital printing where it's flat on the paper. You can actually feel the texture of it. And of course, it's really shiny. So on this next stage, you'll see if you followed on PrintsWell or ordered with them before, you'll see something slightly different here, which is this foil stamping tab. This is where I'm going to upload the front of the product. So this is the print file. So right here where we have print file, you could even name this like one or front of product or however you want to make it easy on you. But this is everything they're digitally printing, just like their normal system works. And this is how you would order just a regular digital printed piece. And you can see that right there. That's the file we wanted. We'll click next and it will tell you if you have the wrong size or didn't do bleeds or something. Now we're going to select all our foil options. So there's a lot of different colors that you can use, which is really fun. We are going to use gold for this particular piece. And then what's great is if you want to reuse the die in the future, you can have them save it. This one is very, very specific. It's got all of this client's wedding information on it, which I've changed to be fake for this video. So we could name it Melissa and Steven, but in general, we don't really need them to save this one. If you had one that just said hello, for instance, and you wanted to use it on multiple different pieces with different printed designs or reorder it later, then you could save it and they would save it for you. Now, all the instructions are down here, but basically you'll upload exactly kind of what I said. So foil design file. So this is going to be our die file and you'll get a little preview. And then this is going to be combined design. So this is your composite to show exactly what everything is going to look like together, just so that they have a reference. And this will help them kind of let you know if you set your cards up wrong, done anything weird with your files, moved anything out of order, or forgotten to include anything. So this is just a really helpful file, and I highly recommend paying a lot of attention to this one. Once you have those uploaded, you can click next and you can see all the other finishing options that are pretty much the same as with other orders. You can't do a lot of die cutting with foil stamping, but you can do the rounded or angled corners and hole drilling. And then of course you can order envelopes if you want. I'm not going to in this particular case. And then you'll see everything as it is. So we have our description, make sure you bought the right paper and the right sizes and everything. And then we have our die file, which the die was $165. So if we were reusing a die from a previous order, we wouldn't necessarily have to pay that again. We would just have this price right here. And then you can, of course, see a preview of how everything is supposed to look, making sure that the foil one is the foil one. And in general, they'll tell you if something looks really wrong, but you can't count on them to catch everything because they don't know what your file is exactly supposed to look like. So always double check everything here and then add it to cart. And there you go. That's how you order a foil stamped wedding invitation with PrintsWell Fulfillment. If you do decide to check them out as a vendor, I highly recommend them. I love them. Make sure you use the link in the description so you can get $25 off your first order after you set up your wholesale account with them. Let me know what questions you have about setting up your files, designing wedding invitations, etc. And while you're here, I hope you'll check out so many other videos on our channel all about invitation design and running a successful creative business. Thanks, everybody.